Hey guys, Troubletcat here, recording for the Zombie Arcade. You're watching Meet the Weapon. This is a live commentary. I'm recording as I'm playing this, and holy crap, this is probably going to be a long one, just looking at how many tickets are left. I just came into this server. Anyway, today we're talking about the Scarl. I'm going to show you an attachment loadout that I like on my Scarl here, and talk about some other stuff. I like to use generally longer range scopes on this. We're on a map where that's not always ideal, but we're going to do that anyway. I'm going to leave the foregrip off since I'm not going to be running heavy barrel. I don't find heavy barrel particularly necessary on this weapon. It's so accurate at long range already, and herpaderp. I was going to say something. What was it? Oh, right. And one of the main sort of benefits of the gun, one of its greatest strengths, is that it has very, very low recoil, which the heavy barrel, I mean, it's still quite controllable even with the heavy barrel on there, but it reduces that a little bit. And finally, loadout is that I'm on a server where, or a map rather, where there's a lot of close quarters fighting. There's a bit of medium range shooting, but also quite a bit of close quarters fighting. So I'm going to want that laser sight, considering I like the 4x scope on this. I'm going to want that laser sight so that I can be a bit more comfortable if people are close to me, hip firing them down instead of having to scope in and probably getting my ass handed to me if they're too close. Always good not to get your ass handed to you too much. I wanted to mention in this video, I'll just get it out of the way now, that I'm going to be live streaming quite a lot in the coming days, probably. I was trying to start my next Let's Play, which is going to be, I'm going to play through the entire Max Payne series, all three games, and upload those to YouTube, and I'm also going to, I'm going to be recording those off live stream, so they're going to be sort of Let's Play live kind of thing. And I actually started doing that, oh shit, I thought he was dead, I was wrong, I don't really want the G18 sup here. I started doing that like a week ago or something, but then that was some sort of foolish timing on my part because I had my exams coming up for university, which are now thankfully concluded. I'm on holidays, which means I should have quite a lot of time to live stream and do that. So that's going to be coming up. I just wanted to let you guys know about that. So keep an eye on the live stream. I'm actually going to start, once this video is done uploading, I'm going to start recording for a couple hours today. And yeah, it should be pretty much every day. I should be live streaming some Max Payne for the next little while, and then when I finish, I'll probably, live stream some other stuff that isn't Max Payne, since I currently have the luxury of having a lot of time to be able to stream, which is good. I like being able to do that for you guys. I know that didn't really have anything to do with the gun, but I thought I'd shove that in this video, get that out of the way. This is probably going to be a long one, as I already mentioned, so, in fact, I'm probably going to end up rambling quite a bit about, let me just adjust my seating here. Probably going to end up rambling quite a bit about things that aren't really related to the weapon, but that's all good. As I mentioned in the Naked video, this is actually one of my favorite assault rifles in the game. Some people have said it's kind of underpowered. I don't know. I mean, it definitely doesn't kill as fast as some of the other assault rifles. That is true. But I don't know. I guess I just like it, guys. I mean, I guess that's all there is to it. I can freely admit that there's, in a lot of ways, this gun is kind of subpar, but I enjoy using it. What can I say? And I really wish I could actually find some enemies to shot the fuck out of for you guys, but they seem to be hiding from me. I was looking at the player list, like, there are only like 5 people in this game or something, but no, there are actually 23 enemies on this map. I just can't seem to find any of them. Looks like they're attacking the suburbs. I'm gonna go up there. I really like Point D on this map, the suburbs. It's just, I don't know, for some reason, there are certain maps where I just like a particular point. There's no, like, necessarily strategic reason for it. In fact, suburb is kind of out of the way up here. I mean, it is an important one to hold because it means they can it's one of the points where they can sort of spawn behind the city, and that can be a pain in the ass. But, for the most part, I just think it's a cool point, guys. Failing tragically to actually hit that gentleman. And that seems like good enough reason to me to hold it with a fury of 1,000 suns! I couldn't see from whence the bullets were coming. I was looking at my mini-map and tried to... Oh, he was in a dark window. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really like this map. I don't... So many fucking dark windows for people to camp in, guys. And, I mean, a lot of times, the sort of contrast the way it is, the HDR and stuff in the game, you actually can't see people in dark windows until they start firing. And I've got, a really high contrast monitor. I've got my brightness and contrast turned up pretty damn high, and still... You're going to have a hard time seeing people in those dark windows until they actually start shooting, to the point where a lot of times it's just completely impossible. They blend in pretty much perfectly, and I find that annoying. And again, it's also one of those maps where, as you just saw, people come up behind you a lot, and they come from directions that you couldn't sort of reasonably expect because there's all these different alleyways and shit like that. I really think this was a much, much better map in BF2, where there were sort of, the paths were a bit more tightly controlled, and most of the buildings you couldn't really sort of go into and then just become invisible and kill people. Is that my first kill? Second kill. Well, you know, I gotta fail every now and then, at least. Most of my commentaries lately I've been uploading have been fairly competent in the game in question, and that's just... it's just not good enough, you know? We need to enhance our failure and get those kill assist 94s. Get those, you know, killed from behind in really stupid way moments. We gotta have those guys. They carry the heart and the soul of this channel, I think. If I actually became like a super pro at BF3, I'm pretty sure I would just have to stop doing everything anymore. At all, at any point in my life. There's a lot of bad dudes over there. I do appreciate when they kind of wander off from the objective without actually capping it. Or, you know, when some of the guys capping it just start wandering off for no reason. It's always fun. I'm here running. There's a guy coming to fuck my day up. You! Situational awareness, guys. It's important. Gotta listen for them footsteps. I've heard people bitching about, oh god! Footstep sounds and stuff like that not being loud enough in this game. I don't have a problem with it. It's true, if you're shooting a lot, you often won't hear them, or if there's a lot of explosions around you, you often won't hear them. That kind of makes sense to me, I'm not going to lie. And a lot of times, you know, you can hear them. They actually made them a bit easier to hear in the recent patch, which I don't mind or anything. Not mad about that, certainly. But, I don't know, I get really confused whenever I'll hear people say things like, yeah, there's no footstep sounds in this game, when in fact, actually, there totally are. Completely and totally. And I often use them to hear things. Maybe I just have, like, the hyper ears or something. I don't fucking know, guys. Alrighty. Let's get up on this objective. There's gonna be dudes in the dark windows. Gotta be careful for this. See, I mean, if there was a dude in that window, I would not fucking be able to see him. I would be dead. It just wouldn't happen. I wouldn't live. Alright. We check out the upstairs of this building, make sure there's actually nobody up here. I don't think there is. I'm kind of surprised. Good. Good, Bodar. Hut! Man, I was planning to upload another video today about close quarters because a lot of people have been talking about close quarters and saying that it's just this sort of retarded thing with no tactics or strategy, and you just sort of spawn and die and spawn and die and spawn and run towards a point and then die, and then you spawn and die, and then you spawn and there's a guy behind you and you die and you spawn die from people behind you while you're running to the next objective constantly, and there's no point in any kind of strategy, tactics, or defense or anything like that. And my experience with the DLC has been that that's just plain wrong. And if you've got Premium, if you're playing the new DLC and finding that the situation is that you're constantly just kind of spawning, dying, you can't really hold down much better than a 1 ratio, and your average lifetime is a hell of a lot shorter than on the normal maps, I would say that your playstyle needs an adjustment. And a lot of people have been complaining about that, making those kinds of assertions about the way the DLC is. So I wanted to make a video talking about, you know, how to play that a bit more successfully for those people who are having that kind of trouble. Unfortunately, as often happens when I try to actually make some kind of tips video, I had a ridiculously hard time getting any kind of good gameplay. It's kind of funny, you know, I'll play all these games where I go like a 4KD and I just dominate shit completely and stuff like that. And then as soon as I start recording, it's just not happening, guys. I'm just like, well, I guess I can't the game anymore. I suppose my life is at an end now. Now, I suppose that, I mean, there are some differences. I mean, there's a little bit more pressure when I'm recording. My frame rate's a tiny bit lower, and I'm playing at a lower resolution, so there are some things that make it feel a little bit different, I guess, but it shouldn't be a problem to that degree, and I wish that I had killed that man. I really regret that he is still alive. It's probably one of the biggest regrets I've ever had in my entire life. I'm going to go ahead and not spawn on this dude. He doesn't look terribly safe there. No. I think I'm going to... Oh my god, spawn. We're losing the market. That doesn't look too good. Let's spawn at the square. We currently seem to have this not at all under control. Cool. Hold that for me. Shit, this guy right up there around the corner. Gotta be careful here, though. They could shoot me from the objective. Let's try and get behind this. Behind me again! Always and forever behind! Battlefield 3. Always and forever. The guy who actually killed me was somewhere where I knew where he was, but I was getting shot in the ass there when I really didn't expect to be. Before I died. Anyway, let's spawn on a squad buddy here, wherever he happens to be. See if we can turn this game around. I mean, my team is still winning, but I'm not doing so good. You may have noticed. Everything okay over there, guys? You guys alright? Good, ass milk. Good, survive. Alright, got that dude. Is he up there? Yep. Oh god, I don't know how he managed to kill faster. How much health did I leave that guy with? 29? Really? Felt like enough bullets to kill, but I guess not. I don't normally have that problem with the Scarl. You might expect I would, considering the average damage and the somewhat low rate of fire, but it's actually generally not an issue that I have with this weapon. Where I imagine that somebody should have died, but they don't. Stop living, enemies! Seriously, fucking hell, this map, guys. Just dudes sprinting around like crazy motherfuckers in every corner of my ass. I don't like it. Oh! Oh, good, didn't see me. Let's get over here. Ah! Good, Bodar, good. Ow! Stop that! Alright, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine! Cool! Cool! Nice rooftop there, small buddy. Did your mom get you that rooftop? Because that'd be kind of weird. I mean, is your mom like a roofer? I know there's a different name for that, but I can't remember. I mean, I guess a thatcher if it's a thatched roof. But I think that there's like a more general term for people who craft roofs of varieties. I'm not quite sure. Maybe not. Maybe a roofer is correct. Always important to make your terminology good, guys. I was not, again, really not expecting to be shot in the back, considering we controlled all the points in that region. Apparently some dude snuck around behind, got control. I wanted to talk, I wanted to mention in this video about the fact that you'll notice that I'm not using a bipod or a foregrip, and you might be wondering why. I mean, you can sort of see why I might not use a foregrip. I think I kind of explained that initially, that, you know, there's not much recoil anyway, and I don't, since I'm not using heavy barrel, I don't want to have that accuracy penalty, aimed accuracy penalty that's associated with the foregrip, even though it is quite minor. I prefer not to have it in this case. So there is a downside to the foregrip, reason not to use it. But you might be asking, well, if you're not going to use the foregrip, why not have a bipod? There's no mechanical downside to the bipod. Your gun is just as accurate without it deployed. It's all fine. And then when you put it down, you get a whole bunch of bonus accuracy. You can just kind of full auto people from like a mile away with very little recoil and very high accuracy and kill the fuck out of them. Why wouldn't you want that? Well, the reason for that is, although I really like the bipod on light machine guns, particularly when, you know, using a sort of defensive kind of thing, you'll see me using that a fair bit, I don't tend to enjoy them on assault rifles, even though there's technically no downside if you're not going to have a foregrip, and you might imagine you might as well have one. The thing about it is that there actually is a downside. It's just not a sort of hard mechanical one. It's that I find that on assault rifles in particular, and to a certain extent on semi-automatic sniper rifles, definitely on carbines, when I have a bipod on, the situation kind of goes like this. About 7 out of 10 times, about 70% of the time, I'm not going to want the bipod down, and I'm just going to leave the bipod up because I want to be able to, you know, strafe around while I'm shooting and stuff like that, and not be anchored. So you want that mobility. So, and then of the other 30%, I generally find about 10% of that time, I do want the bipod. I want that additional supported shooting. I want to be able to plop down my bipod and just go crazy on a motherfucker from a mile away in full auto. That can be kind of cool. And that's maybe about 10% of the time when I'm using a bipod. The other... Stop taking those points away. No, I'm not dealing with that. The other 20% of the time, you'll note more than the percent that I actually like using the bipod, is that I'll put the bipod down when I didn't want to. I'll accidentally bipod when I wished to not bipod. I wish to instead be a bit more mobile. And so since that happens more than the amount of time that I want the bipod, I generally tend not to use them on assault rifles and stuff like that. As I said, they can be very useful on LMGs and good on sniper rifles if you're being a total asshole and just camping off in the Himalayas and don't want to have to deal with scope with scope sway. But on assault rifles and carbines, I find that it happens more often that the bipod goes down when I didn't want it to than that I actually want to use the bipod and then do. So I generally try to avoid, I just go with nothing on that slot generally if I don't want a foregrip and I'm using assault rifle or carbine to avoid those kinds of situations. And I mean, you could sort of say, well, Troubletcat, that's just your mechanics fucking sucking, you goddamn scrub noob. Just fucking gain more control of when you deploy your bipod and when you don't, and that won't happen, you stupid dumbass. And you'd be a very mean person if you phrased that in that way. But it is a fair point, you know, if I had sort of better control of, you know, making sure that I'm strafing or something like that before I aim down sights when I've got a bipod on there when I'm somewhere where it might deploy and I don't want to, this wouldn't be an issue. It wouldn't happen. That is 100% true. And if you can do that perfectly, then I guess you might as well have the bipod on there. If you can do that perfectly and don't find that it is in some way, you know, additionally distracting or that, you know, it's just kind of a pain or in some way, then go for it. Have a bipod if you don't want a foregrip. Why the fuck not? But, you know, for me, since I find that, as I said, most of the time I manage to remember not to accidentally the bipod, but since I find that I forget not accidentally the bipod that often, I generally just avoid having one. And aside from that, even when I remember to not accidentally the bipod, it is sort of an additional distraction. It's one more thing you got to be thinking about while you're playing the game, and you really don't need those distractions. These games are chaotic enough. I mean, holy crap, look at this shit. Bad dudes surrounding my ass, and I don't need additional things on my mind while I'm trying to shot all these fucking heads. There's some dudes over there. Oh, climbing up. Fuck you! Uh-oh. Get a bad feeling about this. I'm sure Machine Gunner Buddy has it. I'm going to try and guard Alpha with my life. I'm not gonna sprint over there and run up the steps where I will definitely be shot by like 1,000 fucking enemies at once, but I will try and pick off anybody I can from over here. Remember, kids, committing suicide is bad, and I'm fairly certain that if I ran up those steps right now, about 17 bullets would fly out of every orifice of every man up there and kill me instantly. But I will try to cover it from across the street, if at all possible, taking advantage, of course, of my weapons range. I mean, maybe if I had a shotgun or an SMG or an F-2000 or a FAMAS or an AEK, I'd run over there, but I don't have any of those things. I got the fucking Scarl, which is much more medium range kind of thing. Let's see if I can take out this engineer. Nope, not even remotely. Not even a little bit. Always risky going for those engineer repair kills. There's always a good chance that the thing they're repairing is going to murder the ever-loving fuck out of you, and the engineer themselves will escape unharmed into the vehicle as soon as they realize somebody's shooting at them. Gotta be careful with that. Looks like I have like no ammo left. That's not exactly ideal. I can hijack this dude's kit. Huh? What did you have? Oh, fuck. The ACR. I think I might have mentioned I don't really care for the ACWR particularly. Talk about that more when I get around to covering this in Meet the Weapon, which I guess will actually be the next Meet the Weapon video, conveniently enough. As sort of a prequel to that video, I will mention that I just plain don't like this gun, but at least I can do something about that tank I do now. Oh, God. Or I could have if it hadn't detonated me horrifically. Long-ass video, guys. I hope you're okay with that. The last one people seem to quite enjoy. They seem to be okay with that. Come on, teammate, revive me again. I can make it to cover this time. Thank you, teammate. A lot of people get mad when their teammates do shit like that. I actually like it. I think that it's always better to go for the revive, even if they're somewhere dangerous, than not. I mean, obviously, kill the enemies first, cover them if you can, but I think it's actually always better to go for the revive, because your team, you lose nothing if they don't manage to survive. Nothing has been lost, and you have the potential to save your team a ticket. So, I mean, it might be a little bit frustrating sometimes getting revived into bolt. Holy God, nice snap headshot there, Rises in Energism. It might be, frustrating sometimes to get revived into bullets, but overall, I actually think it's the most reasonable thing to do, because there's always a chance they might live. Getting a kill with the ACWR here. The one sort of upside about the ACWR is it does tend to outclass... Cat hair on my mouse there. It does tend to outclass the other carbines at range. But overall, I don't really like it. Anyway, I shouldn't talk about that too much now. Gotta go into detail about that in the next video. I think we're about to win really, really horrifically. That's good. What's this, 64? Are you fucking kidding? See how many hit markers I got on that dude? Ridiculous! Alright, bad guys. I see you sniping, and I am hating. You! I'm not a sniper, but there's a sniper near you, you fuck. There he is. Fuck. Ah, it's not loaded! Gotta reload. Gotta have Smario. Alright. Bad guy. Bad guy! Somebody else seems to have killed you. Good. Hard to be mad about that. I mean, I could probably find a way, but it would be a challenge. Huh? Man, I've been alive for a long fucking time. Game started out pretty rough. A lot of gratuitous dying everywhere, but this part's going reasonably well for me, at least. Oh, no! It's about to go a little bit worse for me. At least I managed to disable the guy. He was to be disabled. Really good authority. Did they get out of the tank, or did they die deep in... Looks like they got out. I mean, died and... Fuck! You know, I used to use single fire at that distance pretty much all the time. Since the patch where they added more suppression, I find it's better to just put more bullets at them so they can't really shoot back. Anyway, that's finally the end of this video, guys. Kind of a long one, I know. Pretty rough at the beginning there, but I ended up doing okay in the end, at least. And I'm reasonably satisfied with the commentary I've wrought this day. Getting promoted like a total baller on this 2x XP weekend. Pretty good for my score per minute overall. It's gone up pretty substantially lately. Anyway, holy crap, 35,000 points. Anyway, that's all for this time, guys. Let me know what you thought of the video, and until next time, Troubletcat out.